Good evening. This is the City of Twinsburg Planning Commission meeting for Monday, December 19th, 2022. Roll call.
Mr. Shipley,
Here.
Mr. Walker, Mr. Kleinman,
Here.
Mr. Cohen,
Present.
Mr. Shebeck.
Present.
If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So bless you.
Thank you. We begin this evening with a public hearing, a conditional use request for an outdoor dining area for the Greenbridge Tea House, 9036 Church Street in the C5 district. The applicant can please come forward, name and address, and you're presenting to the community this evening as to what it is that you're
Address.
asking for.
Oh, yeah. You want, okay, 9036 Church Street.
And your name, please,
Steve Gotch, G-O-T-C-H.
and what you're looking for this evening.
We're looking for your approval on a deck veranda on the north side of the building, 10 by 30 feet at the bottom, and that would be the commercial portion, and then there'd be a 10 by 25 deck for the private residential section up.
The building is completely, it is separate mixed. The up is residential, the down is the tea house.
Anything to share regarding the basis of determination on the items in the code or from your application that you submitted?
We think that it's a simple and straightforward design. The only change that we are already anticipating is perhaps moving the stairs to the center of the 10-foot wide rather than on the side of it, because the door has to swing out, as we were reminded at the ARB meeting in October.
All right, thank you. Now's the opportunity for any members of the community who would like to speak either in favor or against, or have any questions regarding this proposal. Now's the opportunity. Seeing none, it's 7:05. We will close the public hearing portion of this evening's meeting and we'll roll into the work session. You guys can just stay right there because you're up again.
Okay.
So there's two items on the work session for this application. The first is the conditional use request, and the second is the actual site plan. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share with Planning Commission before we go through and ask any questions we might have?
My own question was just that I didn't understand what the conditional use meant. I mean, other than making sure that it's publicly known what is going on, because it's going to be part of the use by the tea house for
So-
outdoor.
Yeah, so the
seating.
conditional use is something in the code that gives opportunity for Planning Commission to review the request and attach any special requirements that they may wish to do in order for you to be able to use it. It's not a use permitted by right, you just don't get to do it. You come to us, and if we wanted, more landscaping or something that we
Okay.
could attach to it that we
Right.
think would be for the betterment of the community as well as for you, that's the opportunity. Would you say, Lynn, that that's a good explanation?
It's a good explanation, and a lot of times, an outdoor dining area could be associated with a bigger restaurant or a bar where maybe there's live music or
Right.
speakers, or just a lot more volume of people at one given point in time. And so, as Mark stated, this is just an opportunity for the city to add maybe extra conditions to allow for the use to be a good neighbor.
Right.
Hours of using the deck or noise restrictions,
Right.
things of that nature.
And I had a question. Am I to understand that if we're approved here tonight, this has to go before council? The next step is before council?
Yes.
And then if they approve it at council, where does it have to go from there?
For building construction permits.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Plan review for permit. I don't really have any questions regarding the submission. I think I had a question, originally I wasn't sure about the stair, but there, it looks like there's a stair off of the backside, which is an emergency egress situation. So I don't think I really had anything else. David?
No, glad to see the expansion.
Thank you, Steve.
Likewise, I'm glad to see that.
Thank you.
I think that'll give you nice space, nice on that side of the building.
Sure.
Nice outdoor area.
Thank you. We think so. It's the number one thing.
Yep.
You know, outdoor seating, especially after COVID.
Yep.
And plus, we're so small. And where this is located, it's on the north side, between the actual tea house and the neighbor, which is the Historical Society. So it's a quiet area. It's set back from Church Street quite nicely. I think it'll look great. We think so.
Craig?
Yeah, I have no additional questions or anything. I welcome the expansion too and
Thank
look
you.
forward to it.
David? Or Dave? I had to differentiate between David and Dave, is that?
You go by Dave, right?
You speak.
I go by David, so it's all good.
Either way.
Yeah, I'm a David kind of guy.
David P.
David P. No, I think this looks great. I'm just seeing all this now for the first time, but I love your expansion. I think it's great that it'll definitely bring in more business for you.
It'll bring in more business, and
Yeah.
we really think it suits the house, long and narrow.
Sure.
And plus covered, as a veranda ought to be. But with the upstairs railing, it'll look really attractive.
It will have a cover on it?
Yeah, the lower part, that's,
It's covered by the upper deck.
Two-tier.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. I
we'll
thought
cover-
you were talking like the,
no,
Gotcha.
the upper part is, just the railing. But that's for the residents. Yeah, we think it'll look good. I think people are excited about it.
Yep.
Some people.
Lynn, anything else that we should be aware of, or?
Really, the most unique thing about this project, as opposed to what we normally see, is the parking, the on-street parking, and just the off-site parking. But it looks like there's ample parking to support the veranda.
I had noted in some of the comments regarding parking that there was opportunity in some of the, because it is all off-site, it's
Yeah.
city stuff, for additional areas if it became necessary. Has the city, are you aware if they ever explored that, or it hasn't been an issue up to now?
Hasn't been an issue. And since this new use may be somewhat event-driven, it may be that there's more of a drop-off and then a vehicle parks in the municipal lot or further down the street on Church Street. I could see some people with mobility issues getting dropped off,
Yes.
and then the
Right,
driver parking.
I think that, I don't know how long that turn lane has been there, but people stop once in a
Yeah.
while. But the easiest access is really to use the church driveway for most of our guests. But, there is a possibility in that tree lawn, because it's huge. You could probably have 5 or 6 cars parked basically from the church driveway to our corner. But that's something maybe in the future. I don't
Yeah, green space is nice. I mean, it's always in the development of the square and the area around there. Shared parking and public parking is always
Absolutely.
kind of what it was going to have to
Yeah.
be anyways. But it sounds like in the future, if it becomes an issue, that there's something at least for the city to consider.
Sure.
So, all right, anything else on that? All right, seeing none, so it's, you can hang tight because we'll be back to you here in a moment in the regular meeting portion of the agenda. It's a 7:12, and the first item on the regular meeting agenda, which is not actually listed on the agenda itself, is the approval of the November 21st, 2022 minutes. I missed it when I reviewed when it was sent to me, and I realized after the fact, but, so anyways, the approval of the November 21st, 2022 minutes. Are there any comments or corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, those will be accepted as submitted. The next item is the first for the Green Bridge Tea House is the conditional use request. Any last comments on your,
Well, we're looking forward to having more opportunity for gathering, and so are our clients.
all right, Dave?
Let's vote.
Steve?
No, I think it's a nice addition to the property.
Greg?
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize, so this isn't just for the bed and breakfast. You're going to potentially do dinners there for the public?
Well, since we opened in 2015, I think it was, we did a lot of showers and, we're very small. I mean, our capacity is 32. And we already know that, 2 seatings of 32 is great. We're trying to get the business back up and running. We'll see how that goes. But no, it's the bed and breakfast is an occasional use thing from the residents when we're not there. We set it up with lockbox, and no, it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
It's really for just the tea house. And that's why we want access to be, people are going to be seated through the parlor, through the tea house, I mean, there's the stairs outside, but it's more like in case of emergency.
Yeah, the
maybe.
emergency egress.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We really don't want to encourage a lot of people, walking up and just sitting there, we don't know who's there, that kind of thing, so.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so I have 2 motions. The first, upon reliance upon representations made by the applicant, along with the submitted conditional use request and application for the Greenbridge Tea House and Bed and Breakfast, 9036 Church Street, date stamped received November 2nd, 2022. I move that Planning Commission recommend to City Council issuance of a conditional zoning certificate to allow an outdoor dining area in the C5 mixed-use district.
So second.
Second by Steve. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Shebeck?
Yes.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinman?
Yes.
So you have a positive recommendation for the conditional use. The final vote on that is by City Council.
Okay, which is, you'll let me know the date, right?
Right,
Great.
right.
All right.
Tuesday, January 10th.
Tuesday?
January.
January 10th.
All right. All right.
Got it.
Second motion I'd like to make, upon reliance upon representations made by the applicant, along with the submitted site plan for the Greenbridge Tea House and Bed and Breakfast, 9036 Church Street, date stamped received, November 14th, 2022. I move for final site plan approval.
Second.
Second by David. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinman?
Yes.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Mr. Shebeck?
Yes.
Site plan approval 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming this evening, and,
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming this
yeah, and good luck moving forward.
Great.
Thank you all, appreciate your time and just for us.
Yeah,
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you.
all good.
Good luck.
Quite a welcome.
Yeah.
We're all invited.
We look forward to it. Communications and miscellaneous. Dave, anything?
Strange question for you, Lynn. Do we ever go back after a project has been built and do a follow-up traffic study to see what the impact has been on traffic? I happened to be at a party last week and talking about Starbucks and the whole rigmarole, how they have not come back yet, and we were just talking about traffic, and it was kind of came up in the conversation. I said, you know what? I wonder if we ever do that. And he's a real estate guy, and he said,
Okay.
nobody ever does that. It's like, well, why not?
Well, right, because if the city were going to do that, then the city would be paying for that traffic impact study, and so I'm not aware of any time that we've done that.
The reason I was curious about it is because if something, we happen to be talking about Starbucks, but it could be any other thing. Like if you go in and somebody does a traffic study at the beginning, you put in the project, I mean, the hope is that it's going to increase traffic at some point
Correct.
because you want the businesses to do well. But then what if it causes issues with traffic flow and negative impact on surrounding area, such as Starbucks?
Well, you're
Right.
hoping that the traffic study takes into account that additional traffic and comes up with an idea or plan on what should be implemented to alleviate the problems, if possible.
Right.
And that's what you hope.
Right.
But once it's approved, and I can tell you on any project I've worked on, there's discussion about whether or not it worked or not, but there's really never a follow-up study that's typically done until the next person wants to develop.
Right.
And I suppose the question would become, what's the repercussions, even if there is a lot of traffic?
Right, it becomes a
Just-
law enforcement.
We just have to
thing.
deal with it. I mean, that's basically what it is that the community has to just deal with it.
Right.
You know, you wanted it here, so you got to deal with it, which is what I thought. I just thought I would ask.
You try to anticipate. That's what I do is I try to anticipate, just like we put this plaza in on 91 by Tinker's Creek and there's no turning lane, and it's a nightmare because nobody anticipated that the traffic was going to be that bad. So I think as commissioners, we need to anticipate that and, you know, ask for things in advance, hoping that, you know, we stave off any issues coming further.
In the case of Starbucks, Larry Finch reached out to that property owner and said, hey, you've got a problem here. It's a safety hazard. We'd like you to take a look at that, see what you can do about it. And so that was the impetus, other than I'm sure they were well aware that there were issues. And that communication probably resulted from the many complaints that we got to hear at City Hall.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
That's it.
Steve?
Yeah, the only thing, I drove by the other day and it's like, you know, we haven't talked about it. The landscaping business on 82 crossing Dutton. I know
Yeah.
there were some issues outstanding with that. Did that ever get wrapped up?
I've sort of beat that one like a dead horse. I can revisit that with code enforcement, but yeah, they have no permit to
Yeah.
do business out of that location. They are on the list.
Okay. I mean, it's, fortunately, most of their operation is behind that
Yeah.
residence, but it's still, well, if the neighbor isn't complaining, I guess it's okay, but I went by the other day and it's like, I know we talked about that, but we never came back to that, so.
Yeah, the applicant never followed through with
Yeah.
the conditions of approval.
That's it.
All right, thank you. Craig?
No, I have nothing to add.
Mr. Post, welcome back after a little hiatus.
Thank you.
You know, I don't know if we're happy to have you or not, but
Oh,
we're happy to see you here.
I know one guy who's not.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just You know, I'm excited for this commission actually because I think a lot happens here, and I think that there's a lot to be learned, you know, from being here for a year. So I'm really excited to see how this process happens. I really am.
Well, welcome.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Lynn, what do we see happening here on the horizon? This obviously is our last meeting for this calendar year. What do we see as we ramp up for?
I don't know that we'll have the January meeting. But I would ask you to think about, as we roll into the new year, there's been a request for proposals for a zoning code update consultant. And we would put together an advisory committee for that process. So think about if that would be something any of you would be interested in being a part of.
I mean, it's a long way between now and the January 23rd scheduled
it
date.
is.
So,
Yeah.
but for right now, you don't see anything on the
I don't have anything
on the
at this
horizon.
time. Yep.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Well, I wish everybody a happy and healthy new year and a safe holiday season, enjoying with family and friends.
Thank you, same Mark.
7:22 adjournment. Oh, can I pull that gavel back for a minute?
Nobody
Gotta
saw
step back.
Nobody saw it, big.
Okay, we need to, we need a motion, yeah, sorry, do it. We need a
Oh, right.
motion to excuse Michael from this evening's
Okay.
meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Steve, a second.
second.
Second by Craig. Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Shebeck?
Yes.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinman?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes. Thank you, and sorry about that. So, 7:23 adjournment.